This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. Hello, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and it is July the 17th, Tuesday. And boy, we got some great things to show you tonight on Roundtable. Let's see, tonight we're going to be looking at a couple of different things. We're going to, first of all, we're going to take a visit back down to Martin Tues' office, and we're going to look at detail in some of the vintage equipment and let him talk a little about it. So that's coming up first. And then I'm going to show you a little project that Walter and I have been working on. It's I'm trying to get back into satellite. It's been quite a while since I've been off satellite or the IIS. So we're putting together my azimuth elevation system. And we'll have that a little segment for you just in a little while. And then a really exciting thing, you know, you've been hearing me talk about this Pocket RXTX, the little remote control software to set up a remote base. Boy, that's some sharp stuff. So we're going to be looking at that again tonight in detail, and I'm going to show you some of the little detail and some of the things that I did to make it work. If you're new to the show tonight and you're in the chat room there, hey, tell us you're new, tell us you're a first-timer. We'll give a shout-out to you. Also, join our Facebook group up at the top of the page there. There's a link for Facebook and Twitter. Our Facebook group, you can follow the W5KUB.com webcast there. Post your pictures of your ham shack. Katie and I will be showing those pictures on future broadcasts, so post your pictures there, and it's just a ham radio place to talk about ham radio, ask questions, and so forth. Don't forget, Riley Hollingsworth is also a member of our staff. Riley is retired from the FCC. He was a special counsel to the FCC enforcement. If you have any FCC questions, just post them on our Facebook group there, and Riley will be on, and Riley will answer your questions. So let's see, what are we going to do first tonight? I think that we're going to go down to Starkville, Mississippi, and we're going to be talking with Martin. Hey guys, we're at MFJ. I'm here with Martin. Man, it's always fun to come here. All this great stuff to look at, old stuff I grew up with. I don't know, oh man, I feel like I'm in heaven here. Hey, cameraman Walter's with me today. Walter's our cameraman. Walter, take a shot at some of this vintage equipment over here, and we're going to step inside here.
Yeah, there's VFO from Night Kit, from Heat Kit. There's some, that whole stack are VFOs. Most of them are HW16s. That was a novice receiver transmitter, not a transceiver. There's some old test equipment there. This is a general radio oscillator that covers from 0.5 megahertz to 50 megahertz. It can put a watt out. I mean, you can use that as a transmitter. And this device here is how they used to measure the resistance and reactance of loads like an antenna. And there's some more bridges down here, and just some more signal generators over here, and some old receivers.
Man, come on in, Walter, bring it on in here. Man, we're going to talk about some of the stuff real quick. Look, man, look at this stuff, guys. This is little prototypes. This is little prototypes of stuff. I mean, tons and tons of stuff. I don't know if you can look at this or not, but this looks like a little receiver that was prototyped right here, breadboarded, Manhattan style, where you just solder the components to each other. Am I putting it in the right place?
Yeah, anywhere is fine. Take a look at that one.
Let's see what this is. This is
that's a regenerative receiver that I converted to a single band receiver for 40 meters, and you can actually operate and make good contacts with this receiver.
Well, that's good. There's not much in it too. What kind of chip is that? That's is that one of those 602? No,
no, that's
an LM380
let's see, 381.
Is that the audio or something? I can't
that's
tell.
The audio chip. It's a 0.5 watt audio output chip.
Man, this is so cool, man. Here's There's a little, looks like a little, well, this is what the inside's to.
I think
Yeah,
I made
10
that
tuner looks
into a
like.
Z-match.
A
That
Z-match?
kind of tuner, yeah.
You got all kinds of matches
Yeah,
here. Here's
yeah.
a Z match. It looks like you've built, and
That's
I'll pull it out.
Yeah, you can pull it out. That's a L network.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's got a reversible.
that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Variable inductor there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the way you built it on the board there.
Yeah. Yeah. With wood screws.
That's the way to
in it.
do things, man. Ah, looks like some type, maybe a low pass filter or something.
Yeah, some kind of filter.
Yeah. This stuff, you did this so long ago, you don't even remember what some of it is, do you?
Long time ago.
Oh, man. Oh, man, the more I dig in here, I find stuff. I find all kinds of stuff. Oh, boy. You remember what this is?
Forgot now. Looks like some kind of transceiver.
It could be. Oh, man. Someday I'm going to come down here when I got more time. I'm going to dig in this stuff and see what you got here. Let's look at some of the radios up there. Boy, you got some heat kits.
Yeah, those are
HW.
QRP heat kits.
Oh, man, it's the 8s, the
Yeah.
7s.
And 9. HW7, HW8, HW9s. There's a Drake. There's the power supply for them.
And this is a 2B. I had one of these. The guy loaned me one time. That's a good little receiver right there.
Yeah. There's
And
some Tentex over there.
oh, wait, what is this? Is
That's
this a
the
101?
HW, yeah.
I bought my first sideband rig. You know, we were on AM when I started out, but my first sideband rig was just like this, but it was the HW100. And it was, I guess, the one right before this one. And I built that as a kit. Cost $249 when it came out. Of course, that didn't include the power supply. And you know what? I kept that thing 20 years, and I sold it for $249.
Wow.
I sold it for what I paid for it.
Wow.
Night Space Banner. I think we'll
That's
see another
receiver
one.
head, yeah.
We'll
Take
have
a look
another.
at that tube.
What do we got here?
That's a transmitter.
This is a transmitter
And I think there's a receiver built in there too.
with six
Regenerative receiver.
U8 tubes.
Yeah.
Six U8s. All right, that's kind of cool.
And the power supply I took off out of this Q multiplier.
Oh, okay. Well, power supply maybe.
No, that's an audio
Oh,
amplifier.
is that an audio amp?
Mm-hmm. That transformer is used as a filter.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Mhm.
Oh man, look at all this stuff. Well, let's just keep going here. Here's your extended double zip coming in,
Yeah, 180 feet long.
and you got you at an IC 7300 back here. You
Yeah.
sneak back here and operate. How much you get on it?
A
A little
Didn't
bit.
have much time on it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something that I'm hiding. New piece of equipment
Hiding
that I didn't
something?
want anybody to see.
Oh, what's that? That thing
That's
here?
my new spectrum analyzer.
All right. What?
It's
How
too
high?
new for
How high will
back
it go?
here.
Spectrum
It
analyzer.
goes, I think that one goes up to 3 gigahertz.
3 gigs?
Wait. No, it's only 2 gigahertz.
Okay, I've got an IFR piece of test equipment with spectrum analyzer in it. I think it goes up a little over 2 gigs,
Oh,
somewhere in
okay.
that area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's handy, man. Handy.
Yeah.
Let's walk around.
Yeah,
Let's
this
see.
thing doesn't belong back here
Hmm.
with all my old stuff.
Yeah. Let's Oh, hey, just take a quick look at this. Hey, Martin, what is it? You said this is a 40 meter.
Yeah, 40 meter
40 meter
magnetic
loop. Magnetic loop. Look at it. Here's some capacitor right here.
Everything's
40
welded.
meter loop. It's all welded together. Martin says the problem is it's too big. He can't ship it. So I don't know. All right, let's step around in. Let's step around into your office over
Okay.
here.
Is
there anything-
I forgot there was something I was going to show
Let's
you.
look at these other things here. All right, so here's a little gizmo you're working on right here.
Yeah, that's a pre-selected preamp for these SDR dongles.
A pre-selector. So that's going to take out all the garbage coming in on the front end,
Yeah.
and
Keeps it from being overloaded.
that's good. Now, is this something? Are y'all producing this yet?
Not yet, and we're going
But
to.
you will be.
I'm just playing with it, working
Okay.
on it. There's a
Let's see what
little
this is.
preamp that's out of the receiving loop that we have.
Okay. All right, let's step around and let's look at some stuff here. Let's see. Cameraman, you may want to come over this way a little.
Oh yeah.
The cameraman this way.
Right.
We're over here, and we got so much stuff to see. Martin, we get back over here.
Okay.
Go back over. So tell us about some stuff, Martin. Now,
Okay.
I can remember seeing one of these when I was beginning a hand. That would be a nice little receiver for a guy back in 1950, wouldn't it?
Oh, that
55?
That was a very nice receiver back then. You know, when I turn that knob there, that knob just spins because there's a weight
Yeah.
on the back of it.
Yeah,
Flywheel.
And what people don't realize is, on the new rigs today, that everything's digital. You don't have any realization of how wide a band really is. You just read the digits. Back then, we had analog stuff, and I was showing Walter earlier that 40 meters. Walter, you might try to get a close up here. 40 meters on this receiver. You see the 7 right here. There's 7, and 7 and 7.3. Look at that. There's 7.5. 40 meter band is right there. That's the entire band. And what you do, you kind of get in the frequency you want, and of course the band spread would let you tune that frequency, much more fine tuning. So that's what we used back in AM and mostly CW. Got some Drake stuff.
Hey, let me show you something here that's interesting.
Okay.
This is a national receiver.
Yeah.
This is back in 1950s. The way you change bands is you pull this thing out. And you take that whole drawer out.
Yeah.
And that
Put another one in,
wooden
or?
box up there is full of bands.
Oh yeah.
So you just, whatever band you want to operate on, you push this thing back in and lock it in.
Things seem so much better today, don't they? You don't have to have all those plug-ins. And,
Oops. Yeah.
there you go. That's how you change bands, and that's the 7 to 14 megahertz band right there. Cool. All right, so some heat kits here.
Yeah. This is a HW99, which was a 50-watt novice radio.
I've never seen one of those.
transceiver.
I didn't know about that
It
one.
didn't cover 20 meters. It was
Yeah.
80, 40, and 15.
So it was a novice type
Novice,
radio.
Yeah. It drifted like crazy.
Oh, really? This is a good old rig that many people grew up with right there, the transmitter. That's
Let's
the
see.
DX, what's that, DX20?
DX35. Is it 35? Yeah, DX35.
Okay.
Crystal control. Right above it is a
Where's
VFO.
the crystal hole, a socket? I don't see
It's
it.
inside. It's behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you had a switch to select crystals
Yeah.
there.
Right up here is the first Heathkit transmitter. DX
Right
under
there?
AT1. Yeah. I think it's
Okay.
$29.95 back in the early 50s.
Yeah, and here's the socket on here for the crystal.
Mhm.
Let's see what we got going over here. Boy, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
This is a line of our original products right there.
Some of
Right
your
there in
original
the
stuff,
corner,
your
yeah.
keyers
Yeah.
and
When it first started out.
yeah. In fact, I had the keyer and some of those things that you make here. So what's this guy? What is this thing? Is that a antenna tuner?
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a
James
Millen.
Millen.
Yeah, James Millen antenna tuner. And there's a Heathkit antenna tuner up at the very top. And there's a World Radio Lab antenna tuner, that little light gray one with the gold-looking knobs.
Uh-huh.
And right below that is another antenna tuner. It's made by Latine. I think that's how you pronounce it.
So here's
no,
an
no,
old
Lysco.
here's an old Harvey Wells
Oh,
transmitter.
that was the
No, that's
original
the Z-Match. That's the
Z-Match.
Z-Match. That's not the
The
transmitter.
original Z-Match, yeah.
The Z-Match. All right, now we're getting into kind of some of my stuff here. That was my receiver as a novice, and the neat thing about it was it had 80 through 6 meters, and that was the entire ham band. So if you looked at the one we showed you earlier, the ham band was about 1/8 of an inch long. Here, the ham band is like 6 inches long. So that was a great receiver, and it also had 6 meters on it. This was a matching transmitter to that receiver. I did not have this transmitter. Again, crystal control, your crystals, back when we were novices, you had to plug a crystal in. Everybody had only 2 or 3 crystals.
And that's the Drake equivalent, the 2NT transmitter and the 2C receiver, which was a competitor of the helicopter right next to it.
I didn't know that.
But look right above that 2NT Drake transmitter, that big black box. That's an instructograph. It had paper tape for teaching you Morse code.
I've seen those. I saw one. I've even saw it operate once. That's kind of cool.
Let me show you one other thing here.
Okay.
See these 2 boxes here?
Here?
Yeah, they're the same thing. That was the very first piece of transistorized ham radio equipment. It's a converter for a broadcast band radio in your car, and it allowed you to have ham band only receiver.
That was okay. All right, I know exactly what you're talking about there. It hooked in between the antenna and the radio, and it was a converter.
And the early version of it is over there to the upper top at the right. That's a Gonset mobile converter, but used tubes.
Oh, that's cool. Now back over here. First of all, while I've got my eyes on it, there was my first transmitter. This was a kit. It was a Knight T150, 150 watts. The nice thing is it went through 6 meters, 80 through 6. And again, we weren't allowed to use the VFO when we were novices. We had to plug a crystal in right here. But I built that as a kit. Martin, I had what is it? The Helicrafters. I think I had a SS-38 somewhere and I lost it.
SS-38, yeah.
I don't know what happened to it. But those are kind of neat. Now,
that was the S-53.
Were these ever good enough quality for a ham to use to receive?
Yeah, they were. I mean, back then, you used just about
anything
you
could
had.
get your hands on. That's right. Yeah. Today that would be very crude.
It would be very crude. Yeah.
So this is a Knight receiver. Is this the
R100? R100. Yeah.
That's the match to that.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool receiver.
They had a built-in key multiplier.
Let's see. We got stuff down here below.
Oh yeah, that's
cool.
the S. This is unique. It's like the S-38 receiver that you had, but that had a transmitter built into it.
Oh, see the transmit receive switch.
Yeah.
That is cool.
The output tube of the transmitter was the audio output tube.
Was it something like a 6V6 or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. And that's a Hamelin.
Yeah.
HQ110.
Now, I love the looks of this Helicrafters here.
That's
looks like
there's a SX1.
Yeah.
110.
S10. S10B.
Let's see.
S10B or.
Let's see what that is. Oh yeah, S108.
108.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like the OS40.
Yeah.
And this is a Helicrafter, but it was before Helicrafter bought them.
Okay, so it's carrying the name Echo Phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Got some national stuff here.
National SW54 with a shortwave receiver. And this is one of the early first transistorized transceiver. That's a Yaesu FT7. That's the B model, but the first one came out was a 10-watt model.
All right, well, let's look on down here. Let's see what we got down here.
That's a homebrewed something that I got off of eBay. I haven't hooked it up to play with it.
Plate amps, transmit, receive, meter. Let's see, transmit tuning. This, I don't know. This may be a transceiver. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Receiver tuning on this side.
Yeah. It's a receiver transmitter.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's nice homebrew.
Deal. Now, down here are some of the first transistor radios that broadcast band that Heathkit had.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Those are cool. And the little one.
Yeah.
I remember when the little stuff came out and people started carrying. You could carry it around with you.
This is a Fillmore radio, very much like the first one that I had built. One transistor.
All right. Well, here we got the space spanner. Now, you say that was your first receiver?
First receiver, yeah, regenerative receiver.
And you never heard him? Never made a contact with it?
Couldn't make a contact with it.
Isn't it terrible? The old stuff we have to try to use. But, you know, we made it work. And here's
the Amico.
Here's a transmitter. This is probably similar to what you had.
Yeah.
When you
6B6.
started out. Right here. So again, we were all crystal control. Here's a crystal for 3757 or something like that. He's got two crystals plugged in. This is how we got our frequency. This is what the FCC said we had to use. And to change bands on this thing, of course, you had to change the frequency of the crystal. But you unplug the 80 meter coil and you plug in, say, the 40 meter coil. And that's how we changed bands. And boy, we had probably a whopping, how many watts, Martin?
Oh, that probably put out 5 to 7 watts.
5 to 7 watts, yeah. Let's see what we got. Well, anyway, hey, the old Conar, I had a friend that built one of these back in the early 60s. This is interesting here because
That's the Johnson, and if you look,
so yeah, these two are kind of interesting, Martin. And you were telling us that if you look closely, they're identical.
yeah,
One is a night kit, and one is a Johnson Adventure.
uh-huh.
And of course, you can see all the knob placements are all the same. And now that one came out as a kit. And you know if this came out as a kit?
It did come out as a kit. Now look over here. See this one right up there, SBE 34. That was one of the very early, mostly solid state transceivers. It had a tube in the final and the driver tube. The driver was also a tube. Now this one right here is interesting. That's a God set. That's not a transceiver. It's a transmitter and a receiver. They're separate.
That's interesting. Well, and here's our VFO. This is, you know, today you just tune that big knob and the digits pop up on what frequency you're on. This is what we had. This is a VFO. If you wanted to be on 7200, you just turn that up right around, put that pointer somewhere around 7200, and
Now that only set the frequency of the transmitter,
right?
And you had to set your own receiver frequency.
Well, that's true. But that's the VFO, and things have changed a lot. Wow. Well, look, hey guys, that's just a quick tour of some of the vintage gear that Martin has here. Martin, when I have more time, I'm gonna come back and play with some of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I'm always like a kid in a candy store when I go down and visit Martin down here. Oh man, no telling what you're going to see or come back with. It's just amazing. I want to show you a little something now that Walter and I are working on. This is my azimuth elevation antenna system for the satellite and the IIS. You don't need azimuth elevation to work the birds, but it makes it nice to be able to control an antenna system from inside the house like that. But you can talk the satellites on a handheld and a rubber ducky. That's all it takes. So let's take a look at some of the things that, some of the fun we had in the shop. You know, this is a guy's thing, so we were out in the shop, and you can kind of see what we're putting together here. out here. All right, so this rotor here is going to give us our azimuth rotation in the horizon, and this one's going to give us our elevation up and down. Let me get an antenna, I'll show you. So satellite work's going to require two different frequencies, 440 and 2 meters. So what we'll do, we'll have 440 on one side like this. And then we need some 2 meter. We need some 2 meter capability. So the 2 meter antenna, of course, will go this side. And I've got to get everything all situated like I want it. But that's actually turned horizontal like that. So all the bolts are going to get tightened up. So what you have here will be, you have your 440 on one side, you have the 2 meter on the other side. Of course, the azimuth will take it this way. And then the elevation rotor will take your antennas up and down like this. So that is what we're dealing with. Okay, hey guys, well, we've kind of finished the product right here, and we're going to be putting it up on the roof later. I'm waiting on some special coax to come in from Italy. But Walter's here, and he's going to kind of operate the azimuth elevation, show you how this thing works. We got a 440 antenna on this side. We got a 2 meter on this side. And you know, for the satellites or the birds, as we call them, it's split, 2 different bands, 440 and 2 meters. Walter, why don't you go ahead and give it a spin there? We'll say east and west, and you'll see the azimuth here changing, east and west. All right, give us a little elevation here. Walter, hold it right there, Walter. Now, give us some like there we go. The satellite's right up, straight up almost. All right. Give me a little bit higher right there. Go a little bit higher right there. All right, that's looking good. All right, now the satellite's moving. Turn it this way a little bit. The satellite's moving. We're going to have to track him over. You're going the wrong way. There you go. All right, so we're coming around that way. So you can see the azimuth elevation is working fine. On our satellite antenna. This will be good for working satellites or the IIS, and we're gonna put it on the roof soon. Okay, people may be asking what this little vertical pipe is for right here. Let me tell you. You know, you don't have to have a beam antennas or Yagis to work a satellite. You can do it with a rubber ducky or a extended rubber ducky, or like a Comet dual band fiberglass antenna. And what I used to have here, I had a fiberglass, I think it was a Comet vertical antenna clamped on this pipe. Now, when the antennas are horizontal, of course that vertical is standing straight up in the air. Now the vertical is good to work the satellites if they're off at the horizon, but if a satellite goes above you, that's over the top of that, at the very tip of that vertical antenna. And there's no signal there. So what you do is you tilt that vertical antenna back like this, and then the satellite is perpendicular to the antenna from here to the satellite. So it makes a vertical antenna very effective for working a satellite just by holding it back. And you do the same thing with a rubber ducky antenna. If you're trying to work a satellite, you may want to aim it back till you get your best signal. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with one of these transceivers. The competitive edge you've been looking for is in the ICS 7851. Raise the bar and hear what others cannot hear with this flagship HF 50 MHz transceiver. It has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear local oscillator, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and a digital voice recorder. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new ICOM 7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has direct RF sampling, 110 dB RMDR, an independent dual receiver, and dual digiselect. The IC7300 has changed the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. Okay, well, it's time to talk about remote control of your station. You know, you ever had trouble with a mobile rig or don't have a mobile rig? You know, I tried to put my rig in my truck, and I had so much ignition noise, it was useless. You got a little antenna on there, you got ignition noise, people like to steal your radios out of your vehicle and so forth. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's do a remote control. We've tried a couple of different things. You know, we tried the remote shack. We're also trying HRD, which looks very, very good, man. And then tonight, I want to talk about Pocket RxTX. Now, Pocket RxTX is an application that's designed for an Android device. You can put it on a tablet, or you can put it on your telephone. Now, this application is developed by a fellow called Dan, Y03GGX. Now, Dan is developing a new version of this, and Dan is going to come on our show live, and we're going to talk about it and break the news on our show before he puts it on the Play Store where you would download it. So it's going to be a big deal. Now, it's even a bigger deal because Dan is in Romania, and he will have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be on a show, but he wants to come on the show live and talk about this and answer your questions. This is a great app, and you're going to see it here. I'm going to try to demo it a little bit. The bands aren't very good. The bands have been just really lousy, poor signals, but I think you'll get to kind of see what we're doing with it here. Now, let me tell you, this app is free. And if you take the free app, you know, it posts a little advertisement on there occasionally. But if you buy the Pro version does not have any ads. And guess what? The Pro version comes in at a whopping $3.95. It's amazing to have a remote station for $3.95. So I tell you. So here's some of the things that I'm doing with it. I'm going to show you some of the detail about the power box and different things that we built. So hopefully this will give you a little bit more information and get you in. All right, guys. I showed you the schematics of how to modify a serial cable for this application, but I'll show you what I did. I just took a standard straight through cable, serial cable, cut it in half. I cut it in half and broke out the leads here. And I actually put two little jacks in here on the leads. One is for data terminal ready, and one is for request to send. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so you can see the two little jacks. See the two little jacks in there, a little jack on each side. So what I do, the little power box I built, I'll plug it into the request to send. And anytime the program comes up, request to send, then turns on the power box. It also hooks the antenna up. On the other side is DTR. The pin is DTR out of the serial cable, and that goes to the push-to-talk on the radio, and we're keying the accessory push-to-talk on the radio through this DTR connection. But it's a very simple modification just to a straight-through cable. A DB9 cable. Most of your radios have the 9-pin serial cable. So here's a drawing I made of the serial cable. It's a standard straight-through serial cable, DB9 on each end. That fits the computer COM port and the radio COM port. And I just kind of broke the center, cut the insulation off the center where I could get to the leads. And if you'll look up DB9 connector for your COM ports, you'll see that pin 4 is DTR, pin 7 is request to send, and pin 5 is ground. So this picture shows we just tapped a little wire on each one of those 3 wires and brought it out. And that's what we'll use for controlling push to talk and also the power on off for the radio. So we decided to, use the audio input on the accessory plug. That's typically where the digital audio goes in. It's much cleaner there. You can adjust the levels there. And to do that, you have to use the push to talk lead on the accessory plug to key the radio on the TS2000 or a Kenwood product. So basically, this is what we did. We brought that lead in from DTR. You can see on the left, DTR. And we go through just a little inverting transistor. It's just a common NPN transistor, like a 2N222 or something like that. And then it connects to the PTT line in the accessory jack. And anytime DTR goes high, it will key the push to talk. This is probably the best piece that we've kind of built and added to this. It's really simple when you look at it. Look in the center there, you see 2 relays. One is a relay that switches the 110 volt AC on and off. And the relay to the right there is a coaxial relay that switches the antenna. So basically down the bottom right, we're coming off request to send. When the program sends request to send, it keys that transistor. That transistor then completes the path. We're using a little 12 volt wall wart there. And it goes up to each relay coil. Both those coils are 12 volt relay coils. And it pulls in each one of those relays. So it switches 110 on for the power supply to go to your radio. And it also switches the antenna from ground to the radio. All right, so hey, set up, hook up to the radio. It's real simple. I've got my push to talk lead here, and I've got my little auto power box I built lead here. So I'm gonna plug the push to talk into the DTR, and I'm gonna push the auto power box into request to send. So what that basically has done now is just gave me a connection off the serial cables back to the equipment that I'm interfacing. So I'm going to hook one of these on the back of the radio, and I'm going to hook the other one on the back of the computer. All right, so here's the app again. This is called Pocket RX TX. Start button. Flip my relay, turn my radio on. And we're on. And let's see if we can tune somebody in here.
You're still about 5 over tonight. They're running about 500 watts here. And, doing okay. Just kind of hanging out. Going to go do a few things with the family tomorrow. And that's about it. Nothing big going on here. I'll get a couple more, 3 more strokes of lacquer on them. I want to lacquer them up real good. my recording there. Yeah, very good there, Bob. K-A-N-Y, KC2GNV, yeah.
But you can watch the readout on the radio. You can watch the readout on here. As I turn the knob, it tunes the radio over there. You can also program any buttons on here by going into the config file. It comes standard with certain buttons already programmed, but like last night I added the preamp. So right here we've got 5 buttons across times 2. If I hit this, it takes me to 5 more buttons. You notice right here preamp, off, on. I added the preamp button yesterday, and if you watch the radio right here, you should see the preamp come on when I hit preamp here. I'm going to hit preamp. There it is. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right there is a little preamp symbol. Watch it. I'll turn it on and off a couple times. It's off. It's on. Off. You need to tune your antenna tuner. You can tune the tuner. Watch this. I'm going to hit tune. You can see, you can hear it clicking and going through the process, so you can tune it right there. The antenna's tuned. Let's see. Let me go back to see what other functions we got here. Noise blankers, antenna 1 or 2, attenuation, AGC, and so forth. So you can set your upper sideband, lower sideband, CW, AM, whatever you want. You can change your power levels right here, 5 watts, 10 watts, 25, and so forth. So that's kind of cool right there. To change the band, you just hit the band button right there, and you can select the band you want. If you want to go to 40 meters, you select 40 right there, and it takes you to 40 meters. The radio is showing 40 meters. Then, of course, you can tune, or you can key in a frequency directly just by holding this button, holding the display down like that. It opens up a keypad, and you can put in a frequency like 7.200. Hit set, and you're on 7200. The radio's on 7200. Let's see what else we've got here. You can go scan up and down. This is a nice big push to talk button, and when you want to talk, you just press it, and it goes into transmit. If you notice the program here back at the station, it's going to go yellow. It's going to go red. When I press the push to talk here, the program goes red, meaning it's receiving the signal. And it's also, if you watch the radio over here, you can see it goes into transmit mode. So that's pretty cool. S meter right now, of course, is reading S0. But if you put your finger on and hold the S meter or hold the meter down, you get options. Right now, meter's into transmit mode, power. It's going to read power. Meter ALC, it's going to read ALC. I like, there's modulation. I like SWR, so it's going to read SWR when I transmit. I'll be able to see if I'm remotely, I'll be able to see if my antenna is tuned. And again, the antenna tuner will tune the antenna right there, and it's tuned. So, lastly, let's go to lower sideband. All right. So basically, you use this regular telephone, your Droid type phone, earbuds. And it just works great, with the microphone. So earbuds. Of course, the microphone is built into the earbuds. You can plug this into your Droid and walk around. I'm hearing it right now. If I want to talk, I just hit the push to talk. I'm talking to this mic. So that's really good. Also, you can put this app on your phone. If you got a smartphone, you can put the app on your smartphone, the very same app. And I kind of like this. Walter, hang those earphones behind you, those headphones right here. Well, I like this, man. This makes it for communications type. I can plug I can plug the headset in here. I've got my headset on. I've got my microphone right here. This is cool for driving a truck. This is what we should have taken for Dayton this year, and we could have made a lot of HF contacts. But anyway, you saw how it worked, and it's a pretty neat little program. Try it. Okay, well, hey, let's check in about our new people again, guys. If you're new out there in the show, please join our Facebook group. Let us know in the chat room so everybody can welcome you. We'd love to have you. Hey, if you're listening on International Shortwave Station tonight on WBCQ on 5130 kilohertz, you're listening to our audio. We always simulcast our audio on shortwave on Tuesday nights, and we've had reports come in from England and Central America, so I know people are listening out there. So if you're listening to us on WBCQ on 5130, send us an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub as in baker.com, and give us a little signal report and let us know where you are out there. So I'm not in the studio tonight. You guys have probably figured that out by now. I'm at our home in North Carolina, but I'm actually participating in a show. I'm in a chat room tonight. But while I'm in North Carolina, I'll have my HF rig there. I usually set up a portable antenna, and I've got an auto tuner that I put out at the antenna, and I set out on the front porch and have a good time with the HF rig. And guess what? We're going to even have the remote shack or remote base system too. So, you know, hey, I'll be able to bring the remote base up in Memphis, and I can be in Tuckasegee, North Carolina, and I can talk from Tuckasegee to Memphis, Tennessee, and I can hear what I sound like and talk back. Boy, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be fun though. So I'll have two different options to play with while we're there. So, hey, Saturday. Oh, let me go back to the HF operation there. Watch our Facebook group, and I will try to post the frequencies and times that I'm on. And a lot of times I hook up with you guys while we're over there. So watch our Facebook. Saturday morning, I'm having breakfast with and speaking at the Jackson County Amateur Radio Club there in Jackson County, North Carolina. And afterwards, we're going to go over to my friend's house, Jeff Powell, KM4 QBC, and we're going to put up him some antennas and stuff. I'm going to put him up either a 40-meter delta loop or a 40-meter loop. We're going to put that up. I think I'm taking an 80-meter off-center fed antenna, and we're just going to put up a bunch of antennas for him. He doesn't have any antennas up right now, so we're going to get him back on the air there. So, hey, we had a good time tonight. Next week, next week I know we're going to have the Huntsville, the official spokesperson, Mark, in for BCD from Huntsville on to talk about the Huntsville Hamfest. And boy, you know, it's less than, 3 weeks away. So it's going to be fun and prizes for everybody there. Hey, will somebody please put the Hangout in the chat room? Put the link to Hangout in the chat room. All you got to do is click on that link, and that will add you to Hangout, and we can take up to 10 people, and it's a great little hangout after the show. We can have 10 people in here. We talk about everything. It's kind of like we're drinking coffee around the coffee table, you know. So put that link in here, and I'll join you guys in just a minute on Hangout, and I'll say good night to everybody, and see you next week.